serious gamers of Reddit, what's the creepiest encounter you've had with another player in game while playing online? I used to play Roblox religiously about 12 years ago. One time my brother and I were playing on a world he made, and some random person joined. They started talking to us, and somehow knew all of these recent details about our life. My dad's knee surgery, our cat dying, our grandma dying, all sorts of stuff. This freaked us out really badly, because we were just kids and thought this stranger somehow knew everything about us. My mom ended up contacting Roblox to see if they could do anything, but the most they could do was tell us other accounts this person was connected to. It turns out it was our cousin who made a fake account just to harass us. It was super traumatizing at the time, lol. All of his accounts ended up getting banned because he would apparently stalk people to whatever world they joined just to harass them and freak them out. I'm a moderator in a browser game. I have only had one seriously bad interaction with a player. I warned and then banned, for an hour, him for some jacassery, so the player logs into another account to discuss it with me. That's not uncommon, and I'm happy to discuss further, as long as it remains civil. And it was fine, initially. The guy starts getting testy and rude and agitated. Then he types my first name and some unknown surname, with a question mark. Then again with a different surname. This guy's trying to figure out who I'm in real life. Took me a little bit to realize what was happening, and it scared the shit out of me. Told one of the admins and the guy was promptly permabanned. He later told one of the admins he was only doing it to put a face to the name, so he could more calmly discuss it. Even if that is true, I do not give a fuck. Get away from me forever. I haven't had any, but my wife and I made some friends playing Halo, and she got to know them pretty well. We'd log on most nights and shoot the shit while shooting shit. One day while she was playing with one of these guys, they start talking about relationships etc. as well as sex. To my wife it doesn't seem like a weird conversation. The guy does say he's lonely because he's been single for a while, but generally speaking they are not really saying anything inappropriate or particularly dirty. A little while later he confesses to her that he jerked off while she was talking and asked if that bothered her. Her initial reaction was that it was a bit weird, but she sympathized with him and wasn't going to hold it against him. But a few hours later, when I got home from work, she had really started to be bothered by it and wanted to unfriend/block the guy, but felt bad about it because she didn't really feel justified, especially since she'd already sort of forgiven him, but she didn't feel comfortable with the idea of talking to him again. After agonizing about it for a while, she decided to block him and try and forget about it. I think that day we both learned that you really do have to curate your online experience, and there's no reason not to cut ties with people who cross a line. You don't owe those people anything. But it was really weird how this guy kind of violated her trust, and she still somehow felt like the bad guy for not wanting to be his friend anymore. Okay, so, when I was playing Minecraft with some friends, I offhandedly mentioned that I was hungry. One guy who I didn't know, but seemed relatively normal at the time, said a pizza is on its way to your house. I immediately checked back in chat, because I did not remember typing up my address, let alone giving it to someone I didn't know personally. I acted normal, and kept playing. 30 minutes later, a pizza arrived at my door, already paid for. I immediately told all my friends to watch out for him, since he had somehow gotten my address. I have not heard or spoken to him in a couple of years. However, I'm still somewhat cautious about giving out any information that may pin down my location. Not sure if I'd say creepy, but definitely weird. A few years back, when GTA 5 first came out, I had a group of friends I played with daily. One day, we made for some death matches or races or something, I don't remember, but we decided to invite the people we matched with to an Xbox Live party. We all played for a few hours, added each other, and then went to bed. The next day, when I got online, one of the guys from the session invited me to a party. The moment I turned my Xbox on, I joined, and at first he was cool, but then he started talking to his wife and kids while playing. You could definitely tell nobody was there, as his mic picked up every little sound, even just the sound of him moving his analog sticks. No other voices came through his headset. He then thanked his wife for making him something to eat, and then started smacking his lips and making fake eating sounds. I ended up asking him if I could say hi to his wife or one of his kids, and he got really defensive and made a bunch of excuses like they just went out to the store. But you were just talking about what to make for dinner not 15 seconds ago. I called him out and he just left the party. Never heard from him again. Female gamer here. So I have encountered almost all kinds of creeps. One of the most memorable was a guy, we'll call him Kevin, who played a few games of Modern Warfare 3 with me and a couple of friends. Kevin became so infatuated by the sound of my voice that he wouldn't play with our group unless I was there and actively talking. Eventually, he wanted to play games with only me and no one else. I had a bad feeling about it, so I never joined him. He private messaged me hoping that I would join a private chat. When I refused, Kevin became desperate. Any game I was playing by myself he wanted to join me. When I logged onto my console he would message me almost immediately. He wanted to hear my voice on the mic so badly that he even offered to buy me some online games if I talked to him for a few minutes. He got upset when I refused him again. His attitude changed and he turned into a huge asshole. All of a sudden I, being his hopeful love interest, was demoted to Ho and B. Kevin realized that his little plan had backfired when I wasn't caving to his breakdown. He begged for me to send him a voice message of myself moaning in pleasure. I told him off and blocked him. I once made a female character in an MMO. Obviously I gave her a female name too. Over the week or so that I played her I must have got 30 plus messages from random guys. Everything from hey you need help with anything 5 or 6 times, which I never got as a male character BTW, to hey's beeb, to god you're sexy, wanna play? There was even 1 or 2 messages that were a little more lewd than I want to post here lol. I've heard female gamers talk about things like this, but I always assumed they were exaggerating. It genuinely creeped me out to see the other side of it. This was years ago on the Xbox 360's live service when I was playing Rainbow Six Vegas 2 shortly after launch. I was king lobbies while waiting for my clanmates to log on when I entered a game that was awaiting more players. Immediately it was obvious that someone was having sex due to the audio I heard from one of the randoms' mic. The game starts and I'm thrown onto the same team as the couple going at it, so naturally their character remained at spawn while the rest of us rushed out to find the enemy. A few more minutes of this goes by until something changed. The female voice starts to protest, quietly at first, but she quickly began to raise her voice. I never heard the other speak. The only response I heard was a loud crash and what sounded like the mic being dropped onto the floor. Girl starts screaming no, stop, followed by sobs. Shortly after the player logged out and dropped from the lobby. While playing some Bo 3 zombies, I decided to get into a game with some randoms to hopefully beat the shadows of evil Easter egg. There was this one kid in our lobby, his dad just got home drunk as shit. Next thing you know, this kid was screaming in horror for the dad to stop and to just leave him alone. I didn't really understand what was going on. I just heard most of it go down and I just left scared shitless for that kid. Being called baby girl and hit on by a lot of guys at varying ages. I promise you it's always creepy. I do have a story, but I think this is more annoying than creepy lol. I used to play a lot of Overwatch. Sounding feminine and maining Mercy. Back when she wasn't crap, I used to get a lot of attention. I met this one guy who immediately latched onto me, and since he was really good at the game, I was like, why not hang out with him? I wanted to get Mercy's golden gun anyway and I figured it would be easier with someone like him. He turned out to be a very toxic person, used all of the slurs that you can think of, and was genuinely an awful human being. I don't even know why I put up with it for as long as I did. He would make very weird comments about me and it'd make me hella uncomfortable. He called me Mommy Mercy and he would call himself Big Daddy Reinhut IDK if he was joking, but I hated it so much. Also, he was one of those people who would spam you with invites if you didn't join right away. I think he ended up making a comment about one of the characters being a gross ugly D*K, and that was like the straw that broke the camel's back, and I was just done. I stopped responding to his snaps and messages on PS4. He got big mad lol. At one point he kept spam inviting me to a party and eventually I joined IDKY. It was him and some other random person. Anyway, as me and him were talking more like arguing, the other guy in the party was making comments about things like where I live and what my internet provider was and my IP address. I don't know how the fuck he found out. I didn't catch on at first tbh, so I wasn't really freaked out till afterwards. I asked him, like, why he did that, and he said, oh, I do that so I can hack people and get their internet shut off for a month if I don't like them. I guess he liked me because nothing ever happened. LMAO. I made him laugh a few times when I was insulting that toxic little shit, or he was bluffing, but still pretty creepy that he knew that information. One of my friends told me it wasn't that hard to find someone's IP address, and I guess it's easy to find out things like where they live from that. I'm not sure how true that is. I blocked the toxic guy and I never heard from the hacker kid again.